Had 4 checks sitting on the desk totaling over $1 million. And they threatened, the Broward Sheriff's Office contacted the town attorney and town manager and threatened to sue me for lack of payment. So I told them, I said, you can come pick up your checks. They've been sitting on the desk. You guys just failed to pick them up. And so they said, you're not going to hold our feet over the coals like that. I said, we'll discuss contract when we get here. No, we're not going to do that. Well, the checks are here, come get them. Within an hour, they came and picked up their checks, but still refused to meet with them. The town attorney and the town manager at the time really got on them, and we had a meeting with them. So when we sat down to discuss the contract with the Sheriff's Department, they offered us a new contract for $5.4 million. Here's the thing, I'm not paying more money for a service contract. They couldn't fulfill the contract for 2 deputies. They wanted us to pay more, and we weren't getting service. I wasn't using Netflix, I wasn't using Netflix, so to speak. And we were paying for the Sheriff's Department, but we weren't getting the service that we provided. So,
the controversy of Broward Sheriff Tony. Watch this. Pembroke Park, Florida Mayor Geoffrey Jacobs interview here on the Alexander News Show. And we're going to have a big time discussion on what happened with the Town of Pembroke Park and the Broward Sheriff's Office and why Pembroke Park had to create their own police department. Hi everyone, this is Alexander Carlos with the Alexander News Show, and I am with iHeart Podcast Network. And you can follow Alexander News Show on all social media platforms and also on podcasts. This interview is pre-recorded from Pembroke Park, Florida, in Broward County. It's a very small town. It's 1.5 square miles. Am I correct?
yes.
And it's right next to the, just so you know where it's at. To the west, it's Miramar. To the east is Hallandale Beach. And anyway, so Alexander News Show, it's on, this interview will be posted later on today. And it's also on social media platforms, mainly YouTube and TikTok. And it will be also posted on podcast platforms. In front of us, we're doing an interview, Mayor of Pembroke Park, in the middle. Introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Mayor Geoffrey Jacobs.
And to the right, the town
manager, Dave Lynch.
And to the left,
Chief Dan DeCourcy.
Okay, so the reason I'm doing this interview today is because Mayor Geoffrey Jacobs, and I'm very bad with names, so please forgive me, I want to find out what's your beef with the Sheriff of Broward County, Gregory Tony. And that's why I'm mainly here. Okay. Can you please explain to the viewers, by the way, you don't mind if I take a seat?
Have a seat. It's not a beef I have with the sheriff. It's all about accountability when it comes to the Broward County Sheriff. When I was first elected to office here in Pembroke Park, I was asked to look into our contract with the Broward Sheriff's Office, as we'd had the longest contract for 42 years and the very first contract with BSO dating back to 1980. I met with the sheriff at a Broward League of Cities event. I explained to him that we were having problems about the contract being fulfilled, that we needed to talk, and that in the entire time we were contracted with BSO, we'd only had one sheriff ever come to the commission and speak to our residents and the commission. I said, we need more of that. I said, and we need to discuss the contract. And from that point on, he wouldn't communicate with me. He wouldn't make the time to discuss the contract. I pulled an old school business tactic. I read through the contract. It didn't state how we had to pay him. It just said that we had to pay him because we were contracted for $3.5 million a year. The contract says that we would have 2 deputies 24/7, but we had 18-minute response times and only 54% of our calls being answered, which left my residents in a very bad safety position. So if you called 911, there's a 50-50 chance that you would have someone show up. And if not, it would take 18 minutes for them to get there, which, being a small town and having a BSO substation right in the middle of our city, you would think it would be very simple, but it's not. We had officers responding from Pompano. We had officers responding from everywhere when you would call. So that was a problem. So what I did is they refused to meet with me. So I would sign the checks and I would leave them sitting on my desk. I got to the point I had 4 checks sitting on my desk totaling over $1 million. And they threatened, the Broward Sheriff's Office contacted the town attorney and town manager and threatened to sue me for lack of payment. So I told them, I said, you can come pick up your checks. They've been sitting on the desk. you guys just have failed to pick them up. And so they said, you're not going to hold our feet over the coals like that. I said, we'll discuss the contract when you get here. They're like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm like, well, your checks are here. Come get them. Within an hour, they came and picked up their checks, but still refused to meet with us. The town attorney and the town manager at the time really got on them, and we had a meeting with them. So when we sat down to discuss the contract with the Sheriff's Department, they offered us a new contract for $5.4 million. Here's the thing, I'm not paying more money for a service we're not getting. They couldn't fulfill the contract with 2 deputies. They wanted us to pay more, and we weren't getting service. Like, if I wasn't using Netflix, I wouldn't be paying for it, so to speak. And we were paying for the Sheriff's Department, but we weren't getting the service that we provided. So I told them, okay, I see the writing on the wall. I will build our own police department. They said, you can't do that. And I said, watch me. So that's where we started the construction of Pembroke Park's police department.
Are we going? What year was it officially established? Was during COVID?
October 1st, 2022 is when
Wow.
we established. We started construction. It was a 2-year process. We started in 2020 of building the police department.
Wow.
During COVID.
How many police officers does right now and I guess your chief of police can answer this, does the Pembroke Park Police Department have right now?
We currently have 19 officers right now. We're budgeted for 22 positions because we just added 2 additional positions to the agency. One of them being a community policing / crime prevention officer.
Beautiful. And what is the budget right now compared with, and if you mentioned it again, I'm really sorry, I'll just ask again. What is the budget right now, or the savings now that you have your own police force compared to when you had the BSO? And what are the response times right now with the Pembroke Park Police?
So you would have to really look into the math behind it. With BSO's contract, there's a 5.4 or 5% up to, it states up to a 5% increase every single year on that contract. As a business owner myself, I wish I had contracts that I could write that into. Automatic 5% every year. But this year, he's not holding to that with municipalities. Deerfield Beach, has an issue with the Sheriff's Department as well.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
He tried to get a 10.3% increase in funding from Deerfield Beach this year. But it states in the contract up to 5%. So this year, our budget for the police department is $6.1 million. 6.1 million, but 1.5 million of that was set aside for the build out of our police operations, this station here in Town Hall. So when it comes down, it's about 4.7 million is our budget for the year. If you take that 3.5% and increase it by 5% every year, we're still saving money for the municipality. But our response times are under 2 minutes, and 100% of our calls of service are answered.
Bless you.
Apologize.
It's okay. So at any given time, sometimes you I guess during the worst times of the day, I don't know if there is such a thing of that. What is the most officers that are on duty?
Currently, when we're fully staffed, we have 3 officers and 1 sergeant on duty per shift. So depending on days off, training, things like that, we run a minimum of a sergeant and 2 officers for every shift.
So with this going on with BSO, Gregory Tony, and to be fair, I would like to interview Gregory Tony, but I find it to be a little bit difficult, and there's obstacles to trying to interview him, and maybe you can answer that question. Let's go, before I go to the next phase, would you like to comment on that? Why? And because you had mentioned to me before the interview that he doesn't like to do one-on-one interviews or anything.
So,
yeah.
Dealing with the sheriff since he's been elected to office, he will not come and publicly speak if he can't control the narrative. He will not go somewhere where random questions are asked. They have to be prepared. So he doesn't come to where he's put on the spot to be accountable, which is a problem. But there's another side of this too. We are still contracted with BSO for our fire department as well.
I was going to get to that.
And we're paying $9 million a year in a combined over 9.3 million a year with the combined contract with West Park. West Park is
15,000 population.
15,000, and we're 6,500. But the square footage is 4 point something miles combined.
Yeah, they're higher than we are in terms of square mileage.
We're still small.
Yeah.
But we buy the fire truck. We built the fire department. we own the land that the fire department sits on. So we pay for staffing. So we're paying $9.3 million a year to staff one fire truck and one rescue unit.
Does West Park have their own? Do they have a station in a building in their location or no?
We share a building.
Yeah, we share a fire department with them. It's with the fire. Now we used to have a substation, BSO substation in Pembroke Park. BSO decided to up and move that substation into the town of West Park.
So, would you like to change that and get your own fire department, or would you like to maybe team up with, maybe do something with Miramar Fire Rescue?
Actually, I put it out publicly over the last couple months that we are now working on exploring options to start our own fire department along and trying to work with the city of West Park, so we have a combined fire department, which saves us financially.
Do you have an estimated figure of how much you would save the town of Pembroke Park?
I'll pass it on to the manager.
Sure, I can talk.
Sorry,
about
I have to put you in that position. Maybe.
Well, it comes with the territory.
Okay.
The number of options available in terms of manning a fire department, there are almost 100 different options. The reason for that is there's a sliding scale of the nature of the service that you provide. For example, when you talk about a fire department, you're providing something called fire suppression, which is putting out fires. However, there's another branch of the service, which is emergency medical service, which is ambulance service. Yeah. And believe it or not, your ambulance service is about 96% of your calls. 4% for fire suppression, taking care of fires, working fires, house fires, kitchen fires, but it's a relatively small percentage. So the number of options out there, as I said, it's almost like there are 100 different options because different communities have experimented and found new pathways. I'll give you an example. In the community of Plantation, they have a full-time EMS service, but their fire suppression, when you call for a fire in your kitchen, is volunteer in Plantation. On the other hand, some communities have determined that they want a fire department of their own that they operate. City of Hollywood operates their own fire department. Hallandale Beach, on the other hand, decides to contract with the BSO. Yeah. We're a little bit of an unusual creature because we have a single fire service station which provides EMS and fire, but half of the contract is paid for by West Park, half is paid for by Pembroke Park. So we are examining all kinds of options. I'll tell you this much. There are many options out there that will save us money. And the commission and the mayor will have the ultimate determination, but we are sometime, I would say in the next 6 to 9 months, going to present to them these options. And they may decide they want to stay with BSO Fire, but as the mayor indicated, the amount of flexibility you have when you don't control your own contract really is a very restricting thing, especially if you want to control your own fate.
Okay, so going back to Sheriff Tony, because of all this that's happened, now that you have explained, I'm guessing part of it, because there's a lot more to it. Am I correct?
Yes.
When you need assistance with police services that you cannot provide still, has Sheriff Tony at any moment decided no, we're not going to help you, or we're going to give you guys in the town of Pembroke Park a hard time because let's be honest, I think Sheriff Tony, my personal opinion, just of life and the way things work, he's probably butthurt because of what's going on. Has he done that?
I want to say something before he says something. Camaraderie among officers. The officers don't see difference in uniforms. They don't see difference in departments. When a call goes out for assistance, we all respond. There's mutual aid agreements in place between different departments. But if we had a critical incident happen recently here in town with multiple homicide that involved children, we had people show up from everywhere to support our officers and to support our municipality. The officers don't play politics. They're not involved with that.
Okay.
We help one another as human beings. They stay separate from that. Now, there are legal obligations that they have to do under the Florida Constitution, which I'll let the chief speak about a little bit.
Yes, if you could.
We can take care of one another.
Yeah, we have not faced any issues regarding any help. We've asked for helicopters, canines. Their deputies back us up all the time. They have not said that we're not going to respond. No. And
Okay.
nor would we ever do that. And, we do the same thing when they have issues in the county. Our officers go over and back them up and assist them as well. So
Okay, taking Sheriff Tony out of the equation. Obviously, like, forget it. Like what you're mentioning, everybody helps each other.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about Sheriff Tony. You mentioned, and this came out in the Miami Herald, if I'm not mistaken, or the Sun Sentinel. He threatened you.
Yes.
You mind if you can explain if to the viewers what kind of threats? What did he threaten you with?
He put his
or threatened the town, or you had. And also, I want to ask you. Part B. You also had an issue with you where he said something to you, the police department, and you had to defend the department.
I defended the department, yes.
But let's talk first about my first question is part A and then part B to you.
Okay. Part A of that is real simple. The sheriff's in a beef with the city of Deerfield Beach because Deerfield Beach has gotten fed up with their contract as well. He wanted a 10.3% increase in their contract, which is unacceptable. And people don't understand, our cities all run on a shoestring budget. We depend on grants and outside funds coming in to usually keep the doors open. But most of these cities, public safety takes a majority of their budget for police and fire. So the sheriff did a PR release on the issue and situation with the city of Deerfield Beach. 40 minutes into that video that he created, he started attacking the town of Pembroke Park and how our police department was dysfunctional, how our police department only hired fire deputies, how they were still responding, and how we want to go back to BSO, which is not the case whatsoever. And it became an attack towards me because I'm the one who did it. I'm the one who separated the contract. I'm the one who built the police department with our former police chief, Dave Howard. And I took the bold step to move us away from the sheriff's department. And it wasn't easy. I had to fight internally, externally, everyone to get that department open. It was not simple. I don't recommend it. It's just go to Costco, buy the biggest size of pallet of red tape, and that's what we were dealing with. But the sheriff drug Pembroke Park into this. We've been on our own and doing our own thing down here and being very successful. And the sheriff drug us in. So that's when the police chief did a press conference and released factual data that was in rebuttal against everything that the sheriff did.
Would you like to elaborate?
Go ahead. No.
In regards to what I read, what you directly mentioned,
right?
Your counter towards Sheriff Tony.
Yeah, basically what I did is just refuted the allegations that he said that he was handling the majority of the calls in our town, which he was not. His record, actually the county records from dispatch showed that we actually had, I believe, over a 90-day period was 5,312 or 21 calls. I can't remember the exact number, but the exact number I do remember is those records also reflected that he backed our officers up 18 times.
Okay.
In that 90-day period. In reference to that we hired deputies that had been terminated by his agency for misconduct, that was not true. The records clearly indicate that every person that we've hired from BSO, currently on our payroll and stuff, is someone who retired honorably from the agency or resigned honorably from the agency that wanted to leave for whatever reason. So that was wrong. Made a comment in reference to Deerfield Beach that people are going to die if they follow our model. People are not dying in the town of Pembroke Park.
I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't. So getting back to Sheriff Tony, I see a pattern here because he not only has a problem with you, but he's having a problem with Deerfield Beach. I think there's another city or a town, and now he's having problems with the Broward County Commission. Again, I didn't invent this. Alexander News Show. This is not something that I'm fabricating here. I looked at and I read this from other news sources, including the Sun Sentinel. Would you like to explain and comment in regards to now this pattern now with Broward County Commission? Broward County Commission.
I can speak to this. It comes down to dollars and cents. The sheriff went to the county wanting a huge increase in his budget. so he could pay deputies and firemen. That's what he said. He needed it to increase their pay to make them more competitive. The city of Deerfield Beach said we're done. They voted to step away. The city of Pompano Beach is looking into it.
Yeah.
Cooper City is looking into it. City of West Park is looking into it. It's the dominoes are starting to fall because we can't afford it anymore. It's become financially irresponsible for us to continue with the sheriff's department. Now, there's another side to that. If you pull up his financials of what he was paying people from June of 2025.
You sent me the information, and I was going to ask you about that, but go ahead.
Multiple people have sent me this. Look and explore these. His pay scale on what people are being paid is absolutely ridiculous. A secretary is making $185,000 a year. You know, his assistant. He has an entourage of 12 people he travels around with 3 Escalades, has a chauffeur and private security. There's no elected official in Broward has that. You know, he's a sheriff. Like it's mind-boggling. He has an entire PR team. He makes workout videos and posts them on social media.
I've seen those.
He makes these ridiculous PR stunts and puts these videos out. But that's not what being sheriff's about. That's not what our tax dollars need to be going for. To have a PR team, everyone gives me a hard time. You know, it's kind of funny lately. A few trolls online. Your PR team let you release that? I'm a city mayor. I can't afford a PR team. You know, but not on what you make as a mayor anymore.
I can relate. So. You're always going to have the haters out there.
Plenty. But it's all these cities. But then the other side of it.
No one's perfect.
He says Cooper City unanimously voted. He posted this online. Unanimously voted to keep the contract. Actually, it was a 3-2 vote. The truth is, it was a 3-2 vote. And there's no integrity from the sheriff when he keeps saying, "Oh no, it was this, it was this." How can you trust someone who can't tell the truth? Which led him to be on the Brady list for lying. Which
I read about that.
A list which, ironically, I was being trolled online about him being on the Brady list. When I saw him on a month prior, I'm not going to say something that I can't back up or document. So I went to the Brady list again and found out he was no longer on it. And to be removed off the Brady list as he continues to lie to the public, to elected officials, really, it was mind-boggling to me, and I started doing some research. So I got a public records request out with the state attorney to find out why he was removed from the Brady list. I still have not received documentation, but have received an invoice. So I got to pay that today and find out what the backstory is on it.
So in talking about Sheriff Tony, has he done any other threats to you personally or to one of your town employees, or
just the one that he posted on social media?
Okay, so I want to ask. We're almost about to wrap up this interview. Are there any other issues that are going on with Sheriff Tony that you would like to explain as well?
Well, I think his credibility is coming into question. He's not being fiscally responsible with the way he's running his agency. And the problem is the people that suffer are not just the people of Pembroke Park. It's the people across Broward County that are suffering, the taxpayers, because his inflated budget, and there's no accountability for how his money is spent in the sheriff's department. That hurts all of us down here in South Florida. You know, that's costing us everything. And with the cost of, say, insurance premiums going up, a cost of inflation, homeowners insurance, property taxes, everything combined, with the sheriff demanding more money, when if you just take a simple look at what he's spending in payroll alone, something's not right. Something's not adding up.
You had mentioned to me, and again, so I have to go back because I need to make sure this is put out there. I've seen him in the post. I personally, I feel he's kind of like an extreme leftist, communist, Shreve Jones, or what's his name?
Chevron Jones.
Chevron Jones. I'm sorry if he's a friend of yours.
No, he's not.
I'm not a fan of his. Can you explain what's his connection with Sheriff Tony?
So Senator Chevron Jones, when he was a House representative, was our representative here for Pembroke Park. His entire time in the House, he would not financially help or any assistance with the town of Pembroke Park. He actually did a press release calling me homophobic and misogynistic, and all I was trying to do was
which you're not.
I am not. I am so not. But
Of
he
course
put that out there.
I've done that, right?
Yeah.
My research.
He's put that out there, but the fact that he would go to that extreme to really discredit me when all I'm trying to do is better my community, that's the problem. But when I was doing that, I found out he's on the sheriff's payroll. So he's sitting on the sheriff's payroll making $92,000 a year for a job that he does not do. He does not attend. He does not go Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. But he's making $92,000 a year for a ghost job.
And
how's that for our taxpayers?
And he has destroyed the Democrat. He's part of the reason why the Democrat Party of the state of Florida has gone downhill, especially down here in South Florida.
He's not the only one. I want to be clear. He's not the only elected official on the sheriff's payroll. There are others. If you go through the payroll sheet, you will see names pop up.
I'm going through that now.
And that's a problem. You got to ask yourself, why are elected officials being paid through the sheriff's department? I have a major issue with that. Now, I work a regular job outside my position as mayor. I also have a couple businesses with my wife. So, I work.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. That's what elected positions were supposed to be. These were supposed to be secondary positions to represent
public
the
service.
community as public service, and that's what I expect out of this position. But when I'm finding elected officials are on BSO's payroll, and then BSO is complaining that they need more money, and then I'm looking at where their money's going, and I'm watching all these PR stunts being done, which cost the taxpayers a great deal of money. The workout videos, all the other nonsense, that's where your money is. That's where your problem
That costs money because the people that have to edit that, they got to get paid for that.
Oh, yeah. It's accountability.
So does the town of Pembroke Park pay, even though you have your own police force? And I know, and just so I let my viewers know, the town manager had to get going because he has a flight to catch.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure I put that out there. But does the town of Pembroke Park still have to pay for BSO services? Not the fire risk, not the fire part. Obviously, I know you said the town of Pembroke Park owns everything, but do they have to pay for some kind of police service still, or no?
We're still taxpayers. The town of Pembroke Park.
Does it come out? If you own a home, the homeowner, does he see it in his tax bill where it says BSO police, something like that? Sheriff? No.
This is where Pembroke Park is very unique. We have only 8 single-family homes. I refer to it as the Street of Dreams. We have 17 mobile home parks. A lot are on private lakes. They're kind of scary, sketchy mobile home park. They're beautiful communities, apartments and condos. So we're kind of a unique mix because we are half industrial, quarter commercial, quarter residential.
Okay.
So, but we still pay taxes just like every other municipality in Broward County.
Okay. So, in final thoughts, and I do have one question because it's dear to me, and I found out about this. What else, if you would like to comment, Chief? What would you like Sheriff Tony to do? What would you like him to do to improve that? Can this relationship be improved? Can it be fixed? Let's talk about this. The two parts. Number one, can your relationship with Sheriff Tony be something good? Can it improve? And can the relationship between Sheriff Tony, now forget the BSO, Sheriff Tony, the bureaucrat, the political figure, because he's elected, improve his relationship with the town of Pembroke Park and with the police department? I mean, can you explain, please? Can it?
It's very hard to communicate with someone who refuses to communicate with you. So I've invited him multiple times. I've publicly invited him. I've sent emails, invited him to come speak to the commission, and he still has not. Honestly, I don't think there's any way it's going to improve.
So you've extended olive branches.
I have many times over,
and you too, I guess, Chief, right?
And it hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think the one thing that I would like to see, and I think most elected officials, and I would hope most residents in Broward County would be a legitimate external audit of the Broward Sheriff's Office on the financials, and recommendations on how to rebudget the Sheriff's Office. I want to be upfront. The pay for deputies and our public service employees, our police and fire, needs to be on par. It really does. And you will never hear me talk bad about the deputies or the officers or, firemen in Broward County or anywhere. As a former state trooper, I support them in everything that they do, but their pay's got to be on par. We just went through that with our police department with collective bargaining, and we got our police pay on point with our officers here. It was a little bit of an increase, but we're right where we need to be for a police department. Our benefits are on point. We actually have some of the best benefits in the state when it comes to medical, dental, vision. I've worked hard to make this police department a place that officers want to come to. Now, when we built this police department, the key was a community policing, a police department built by us for us, one that is a direct reflection of the community in which it serves. And I think between the chief and myself, we have achieved that goal with a police department that's respected among the community, where our residents are thrilled to have the police department here, and they've seen the positive changes a community policing style police department can make in a community.
So we have Florida Doge doing audits now, different governments in the state of Florida. But what agency would you like to see audit the BSO?
I think it would have to be an independent auditor, someone who focuses
not
specifically.
The state.
I don't know the state. I don't know if the state is up to snuff on doing that audit. I think it has to be an independent third-party company. So
who has the power for that, to do that?
Just recently I learned that the county commission can even request that from them. So
okay.
The governor, I think, is the only one, but he's as difficult to reach as the sheriff is.
Yeah, he actually appointed, Governor DeSantis appointed Tony.
Yes.
And yes, I agree with you. He's not very friendly to the media.
Yeah.
So in closing, I found out that the town of Pembroke Park is going to participate and perhaps be an autism-friendly town.
Yes.
And I want to mention it because I am not only like you, not only am I a reporter journalist, but I'm also a special needs therapist, and I work with special needs individuals and trying to improve their lives. So can you please explain a little bit? And the reason I'm mentioning is this because the Dr. Michael Alessandri, a very good friend of mine, is with UMNSU CARP. Can you please explain what this is all about? I think this is great. It brings a smile to my face.
That'd be David put that all together. So unfortunately, the manager left too.
Okay.
Is the driving force behind that. His wife is a special needs teacher as well, but the town manager has actually brought that to the commission as the driving force.
Anything you would like to add to that, even though
taking care of children is key. Let me give you a little example of what we did recently.
Okay.
The Broward School Board ended the free lunches because they ran out of COVID funds. And then they increased the price for the elementary schools from lunches from $2 to $3 a meal. Residents of Pembroke Park are not there where that little bit can break a family. And so what I did was brought to the commission. I worked with our school board member and brought to the commission that we'll fund the free lunches for our schools. For both, we have 2 elementary schools. That's all we have in the town is 2 elementary schools, Lake Forest Elementary and Watkins Elementary. I brought it to the commission, and the commission 100% supported me on it. And we pulled money out of our budget to make sure every kid in Pembroke Park has free breakfast and lunch. We are covering the cost of those free lunches. I actually asked the other mayors of Broward County to step up and try to do the same for their municipalities as well. But to date, we are the only municipality covering those lunches. Because if kids are hungry, kids can't eat. Their schooling's
That's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Why would they raise it $1 more? I mean, whatever.
But they hadn't raised it in a long time, and that's what they did. But We're taking care of our children here in Pembroke Park. We're taking care of our residents here in Pembroke Park. Public safety is a key priority for me in Pembroke Park.
So my last question, and Chief, if you can please answer this. Does the Pembroke Park Police Department have parameters in place for crisis calls involving special needs individuals, mainly autism?
Basically what we do for anybody that's in crisis. We'll make the necessary referrals if need be, evaluate the situations, and contact the appropriate authorities, or depending on what the crisis is that person's dealing with, and see if we can get them the resources to make them, obviously we want better. We're here to serve everybody in the community.
Well, I am excited because I found out about this because I told Michael Alessandro, Dr. Michael Alessandro, it was his birthday yesterday. Really nice guy. If you ever have a chance, I'm going to try to introduce you to him. He has done this with other towns. He told me that he's working with the town of Pembroke Park. That was his word. Told me, we're working with them in trying to make it an autism-friendly town. So I was very excited about that because I told him, I'm going to go meet with them because I was very excited. I was very excited to meet the town mayor, which is you, and I'm here now. Hey, yay! So, anyways, I appreciate you coming on the Alexander News Show, and for the record, I'm going to try to reach out to Gregory Tony, though that's going to be a little bit hard to do, and I don't think after this interview he's going to want to talk to me. But anyways, this is Alexander News Show with iHeart Podcast Network. Catch this on the podcasts and on social media platforms. Thank you for being on the show. To Mayor Jacobs and to Chief DeCourcy. Thank you for appearing in the Alexander News Show.
Thank you for having us.
For the 30th of October, 2025. From Pembroke Park, Florida, Broward County, USA.